Hi, this is Jimmy Cliff. In case you don't know who that is, it is I who say you can get it if you really want. Welcome to Reggae Strong.
You know, love is an incredible thing, and we don't know love like we should.
You know, sometimes it's difficult because, you know, we live in a world that doesn't really respect the creative and intellectual.
And the only reason why the Miseducation was the album it was because of a myriad of experiences that took place before the production part.
Jimmy Cliff had just taken his final bow, and the heartbreak rippled through Jamaica and the entire reggae world. Then out of nowhere, Lauryn Hill, now 50, dropped a bombshell online, a grainy old video she called A Fragment of Memory. Just a few seconds of blurry, overexposed clips, two icons chatting backstage, a sentence cut off halfway, and suddenly the internet exploded.
We always talk about, I have unconditional love. Unconditional love is, we don't even know it, because if a person stops stimulating us, we stop loving them.
Fans couldn't stop asking questions. Was this the rumored footage hidden away for years, the kind insiders whispered about but never dared to release? And who exactly were they trying to protect? What powerful truth did Jimmy Cliff once speak on camera? And why did Lauryn choose this exact moment to pull it out of the shadows?
You're not interesting to talk to anymore. Goodbye. But that real love, that love that sometimes is difficult, difficult to have, that's that love.
To really get it, you gotta understand Lauryn Hill herself. She's never been a typical artist. She's a force. From her teenage rise to fame to becoming one of the most private figures in neo-soul, every move she makes sends shockwaves through the industry. She's known for bold statements, unpredictable silences, and vanishing acts that only make her legend grow stronger. Those who truly follow Lauryn know one thing. What she shows the world is just the surface. Every time she steps back into the spotlight, the same questions return. What message is she about to drop? What truth is she ready to uncover that no one else dares to speak? That's why this clip isn't being seen as just an old memory. It feels like a key piece of a bigger puzzle.
Contributions of women, you know, it's more of like, you know, oh, you're so cute, be quiet, you know, shh, don't talk too much. And I've always been vocal and also very clear as far as what my sound is, you know what I mean? So it's important that I produce it myself, because it gets very frustrating trying to articulate that to someone and have them not make it when you know so completely and so directly what it is that you're trying to get across.
A moment that could connect two generations, two voices, and maybe reveal the secret story Lauryn Hill has been holding on to all along. Lauryn Hill's journey shines bright but carries its shadows too. Born in 1975 in South Orange, New Jersey, Lauryn Noel Hill grew up in a warm, music-filled home where melodies floated through every room. Her mom hummed gospel tunes while her dad sang smooth soul classics, shaping Lauryn's heartbeat around sound itself. As a kid, she soaked up everything: soul, gospel, R&B, hip-hop, even reggae, all blending into her one-of-a-kind rhythm. At just 13, she hit the school stage for a singing contest, and by 14, she was already stepping into television. Her rare mix of talent, singing, rapping, and acting made her stand out instantly. Before she ever cut a record, Lauryn was already in Hollywood.
Before the creation. So what I realized is, you know what, I can't create and not live. I can't be in this vacuum of, you know, of creativity without life. So, you know, in hip hop, we're all trying to get to this next level without, as my brethren says, without the next level finding us.
In 1993, her breakout role in Sister Act 2 turned her into a national name. That radiant smile and powerful voice made her unforgettable. Even before that, she had appeared in As the World Turns, learning how to command the camera with ease. People began calling her a teen genius. Her presence was sharp, confident, and far beyond her years. But Lauryn had bigger dreams than acting. Music was her true calling. And destiny came knocking when she met Wyclef Jean and Pra Michelle. Together, they formed the Fugees, a bold new sound mixing hip-hop, soul, and reggae that no one in the U.S. music scene had ever heard before. Then came The Score in 1996, an album that shattered records and flipped the industry upside down. It sold over 17 million copies, won 2 Grammys, and topped charts worldwide. Lauryn's voice, gentle yet fierce, commanded respect everywhere. She wasn't just part of the music scene, she was rewriting it. Rolling Stone once said, "No one raps like her, no one sings like her, and no one does both like Lauryn Hill." Her mix of reggae and dancehall made her sound unmistakable, a true bridge to Jamaica's soul. That same energy would one day link her spirit to legends like Bob Marley and Jimmy Cliff, even if they never shared a studio together.
We compare ourselves amongst ourselves, you know?
That's not the standard. You already are the standard. What are you trying to fit into a standard for? We were each created to be individual standards, you know? And we're trying to fit into a standard. It doesn't make any sense, you know? So now I'm just, you know, after all that, I'm just ready to be me. And it's a lot to work through, you know, because all of us have hidden in these little boxes purposely because of parts of ourselves that we were unhappy about and we didn't love, just because we didn't understand, you know, because there's all this social doctrine that says, you know, that the infinite God with all this expression who created every single one of us absolutely different on purpose wants everybody to fit into the same suit. I'm like, you know, that's deception.
Then came 1998, Lauryn Hill's Year of Glory. The miseducation of Lauryn Hill wasn't just a debut, it was a revolution. The album stormed straight to #1, earning 10 Grammy nominations and 5 wins in one unforgettable night. Lauryn made history as the first woman ever to do it. What a moment! But the success went deeper than numbers. It was proof that Lauryn had carved her name permanently into pop culture. Through songs about love, faith, pain, and motherhood, she spoke truths that hit the soul.
Life is continued work. It's constant learning. You know, we should constantly be working. Maybe not physically working, but we could be spiritually, emotionally working toward bettering ourselves and bettering the lives of others around us. I don't believe in getting comfortable just because everyone says you've arrived. We should never be comfortable where we are. You know, we should always be aspiring to know more and to better ourselves and to improve ourselves, you know, to improve ourselves. Because that's how we improve the world around us, by working within us.
Mixing gospel, reggae, soul, and hip-hop, she turned raw emotion into music that felt like a mirror of people's hearts. Even now, 25 years later, critics call it the Neo-Soul Bible. Icons like Beyonce, Alicia Keys, J. Cole, and Kendrick Lamar all credit Lauryn for shaping their sound. Yet fame came with a heavy cost. After that record-breaking night, she stepped away from the spotlight. No second studio album, no flashy returns. In 2002, she released MTV Unplugged 2.0, a raw and quiet album of only her voice and guitar. Honest, stripped down, and full of reflection. Critics were divided, but her real fans understood. It was Lauryn's stand against being just another product for the industry. Then, in the 2010s, headlines turned to legal troubles and tax issues that led to a short sentence. But even through controversy, Lauryn's mystery only grew stronger. No matter what happened, her legacy stayed untouchable. Was Lauryn Hill a genius disillusioned by fame, or a legend broken by the very system she once ruled? Today, even without constant spotlight, Lauryn stands as one of the most respected voices in Black music. She rarely speaks, but when she does, the whole world listens. Lauryn isn't just an artist who sold millions. She's a keeper of untold stories, a voice that still connects generations. Her bond with reggae and Jamaica's soul is undeniable. And to truly understand the meaning behind the footage she shared after Jimmy Cliff's passing, we have to climb that same musical mountain. And at the top stands Jimmy Cliff himself. Before Bob Marley turned reggae into a worldwide anthem, it was Jimmy Cliff who first opened the door. To grasp why his death shook so deeply, you have to know the man who built the foundation. Born in 1944 in Somerton, Jamaica, Jimmy grew up in hardship, but surrounded by rhythm. Nights echoed with drumming, singing, and the heartbeat of reggae pulsing through every street. For Jimmy, music wasn't a dream, it was survival. He often said, "I didn't choose reggae, reggae chose me." By 14, he was writing songs and taking them to local producers who instantly knew he had something special. That spark in his smile and his unstoppable energy made him unforgettable. Then came 1972, Jimmy Cliff's moment of immortality. In The Harder They Come, he didn't just act, he embodied rebellion itself. His character, Ivanhoe Martin, became the symbol of a man fighting oppression, and Jimmy's powerful voice carried reggae beyond Jamaica's shores. From that moment, he wasn't just a star, he was the heartbeat of a movement. The Harder They Come didn't just tell a story, it changed music forever. Its soundtrack, performed mostly by Jimmy Cliff, reshaped how the world heard Jamaica. Songs like Many Rivers to Cross, You Can Get It If You Really Want, Sitting in Limbo, and The Harder They Come created what critics called the voice of Jamaica. Even his cover of I Can See Clearly Now turned into a worldwide hit, bringing reggae to listeners who had never felt its rhythm before. Jimmy's sound was magic, a smooth mix of reggae, ska, soul, and pop that built a bridge between the Caribbean and the Western world. Through the 70s and 80s, as reggae rose globally and Bob Marley became a symbol of unity, Jimmy stood tall as the pioneer who started it all. Music historians often mention the legendary trio, Jimmy Cliff, Toots Hibbert, and Desmond Dekker, the men who pushed reggae beyond Jamaica's shores. If Bob Marley was the prophet, Jimmy Cliff was the builder, the one who laid the first stones for reggae's global journey. His career spanned more than 6 decades, earning 2 Grammy Awards and Jamaica's Order of Merit. But his real legacy wasn't trophies. It was the power of his songs in people's lives. Wonderful World, Beautiful People became an anti-war anthem. Many Rivers to Cross spoke to the lost and broken, and The Harder They Come became a voice for fighters and dreamers everywhere. Jimmy Cliff's music told the story of the Caribbean, beautiful, painful, and proud. And what made him unstoppable was his evolution. At 40, he explored pop. At 60, he returned to ska. At 70, he was still performing live. Icons like Ziggy Marley, Shaggy, and Sean Paul called him their inspiration. His passing in 2025 left a silence Jamaica will never forget. Jimmy Cliff wasn't just an artist, he was a symbol of Jamaica's soul, a cultural ambassador whose influence reached far beyond music. And though Lauryn Hill and Jimmy Cliff seemed to come from 2 different worlds, she, the American queen of neo-soul and hip-hop, he, the Jamaican legend of reggae, their spirits were deeply connected. They never sang together, never filmed a duet, and never shared a stage, but music connects people in ways deeper than collaboration. Their bond lived in creativity, in message, in energy. One generation passes the torch to the next, and that's where Lauryn and Jimmy truly meet. Lauryn Hill entered through American music, but her heartbeat always carried a reggae rhythm. She recorded in Jamaica, even working on tracks and demos at the Bob Marley Museum in Kingston, the heart of the island's creative spirit. From the score to the miseducation of Lauryn Hill, her songs pulsed with Caribbean rhythm, dancehall flavor, and lyrics full of faith, pain, and healing. On the other side stood Jimmy Cliff, the man born from reggae's cradle. He carried Jamaica's sound from small-town streets to the world stage, transforming struggle into pride. 2 artists, 2 different journeys, yet both connected to the same source, Jamaica, the land that shaped their souls. Both were part of the same musical family, the Marley legacy, the reggae legacy, the voice of unity. Lauryn once stood on stage during a Bob Marley tribute with Tracy Chapman, Queen Latifah, and Erykah Badu, while Jimmy Cliff often appeared at festivals celebrating Jamaican pride. They may never have shared a mic, but spiritually, they stood side by side in the same musical universe, where reggae isn't just sound, it's identity, passion, and truth. If Jimmy Cliff pushed reggae beyond Jamaica in the 70s, then Lauryn Hill carried that same fire into hip-hop and neo-soul for a new generation. Together, they formed 2 ends of one bridge. Jimmy at the beginning, Lauryn at the continuation, and between them flows over 50 years of musical soul and resistance. What connects them most isn't just their sound, but their beliefs. Both saw music as medicine, as a way to heal and free people's spirits. When Jimmy sang Many Rivers to Cross, he voiced the pain of a divided people. When Lauryn wrote To Zion or X Factor, she revealed her own struggles and strength. Both turned their songs into spaces for truth and reflection. They also shared rebellion. Jimmy Cliff called out record labels for exploiting Jamaican artists and ignoring their culture, while Lauryn Hill rejected the idea of being a product of the music machine. She stepped away rather than lose herself to fame. Both fought the same battle from different times, the pressure placed on black artists by an industry that too often values profit over purpose. Though they never worked together, their spirits spoke through the same rhythm. Jimmy was among the first to bring reggae to the world before Bob Marley's global wave, while Lauryn fused that same heartbeat into hip-hop and neo-soul, bringing reggae's message to audiences who'd never known its roots. Critics say Lauryn stands on the shoulders of giants like Jimmy Cliff and Bob Marley, but she also built her own legacy from their spirit. So when she shared that hidden footage after Jimmy's passing, it wasn't random, it was spiritual. A final salute from one artist who carried the torch to the one who first lit it. It wasn't just an action, it was instinct. A quiet bond stretched between Lauryn Hill and Jimmy Cliff, 2 souls connected by decades of rhythm and spirit. They weren't collaborators in the usual sense, but 2 halves of the same cultural heartbeat, a line running from the rough streets of 1950s Kingston to the Grammy stage of the late 90s. Not close, yet never strangers. That's why Lauryn's post after Jimmy Cliff's passing hit so hard, it felt like one end of a bridge suddenly falling silent. When one legend's voice fades, the world turns to the other, searching for meaning. Then came the heartbreaking news. Jimmy Cliff was gone at 81. No scandal, no mystery, just peace at the end of a long, powerful journey. According to his family, he passed after severe health complications that led to pneumonia. The island went still that day. Jamaica, the land that once pulsed with his songs, now held its breath in grief. It was as if the music paused across the Caribbean. The man who carried reggae across oceans had taken his final bow, and the silence that followed was deafening. Within hours, tributes poured in from every corner of the world. Jamaica's Prime Minister, Andrew Holness, honored him as the man who carried Jamaica to the world, a cultural ambassador we cannot replace. The headline said it all. The Guardian called him the man who opened the gate for reggae. The New York Times named him a cultural bridge. A chapter of Caribbean history had ended, but the echoes of Jimmy Cliff's voice will keep playing forever. Rolling Stone called him one of the last great architects of reggae. From Los Angeles to London, from Lagos to Kingston, the world united in grief. Artists everywhere shared old photos, live clips, and memories that carried Jimmy Cliff's rhythm in their hearts. Ziggy Marley called him the elder generation of us all. Shaggy said he was the sound of a nation's childhood. Even artists outside reggae joined the chorus. John Legend, Alicia Keys, Common, and countless hip-hop voices all posted their tributes. It wasn't just sadness they shared, it was respect, legacy, and love for the man who made reggae a global heartbeat. But in the middle of this wave of mourning, one name stood out: Lauryn Hill. Why did Jimmy Cliff's passing hit her so deeply? To understand, you have to trace her path back to her roots. Lauryn was shaped by Bob Marley, a figure she often called her spiritual compass. She recorded at the Bob Marley Museum, performed at tributes, and spoke about how Jamaica gave her not only music, but freedom. And before Bob Marley came Jimmy Cliff, the original trailblazer. He was the first stone laid on the road Marley later walked. Without Cliff, reggae might never have left Jamaica's shores. And without reggae's global rise in the 1970s, Lauryn Hill might never have found the inspiration to craft her own resistance-filled neo-soul masterpiece, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. If Marley was the lighthouse, Jimmy Cliff was the foundation holding it up. So for Lauryn, his death wasn't just the loss of a legend. It was like losing a piece of her own musical ancestry. A quiet thread that had always tied her to the soul of Jamaica was suddenly gone. When one legendary era ends, the next must carry the flame. That's why, when Jimmy Cliff took his final bow, Lauryn Hill couldn't stay silent. She shared a rare old video, a piece of blurred history she once called a fragment of memory. Fans instantly sensed something powerful was hidden behind it. Jimmy Cliff's death felt like more than loss. It was a signal, a moment unlocking something Lauryn had kept tucked away for years. This wasn't a simple tribute or polite farewell. It was a message, a reminder that when a chapter closes, buried truths rise to the surface. As the world replayed Jimmy's classics across homes, bars, and Kingston streets, another sound quietly surfaced online. A mysterious, grainy video. No one knew who uploaded it or where it came from, but it spread fast, drawing everyone into a storm of curiosity. The clip showed Lauryn Hill at her peak, late 1999, right after The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill won 5 Grammys. She stood before a microphone at a Jamaica tribute event, face focused, eyes fierce, dreadlocks cascading down. The video was low quality, the sound crackling, but that only made it feel more secret, like something never meant for public eyes. Her voice faded in and out as if tampered with, but her message cut deep. She spoke about how the industry was draining reggae of its soul, turning it into a market product stripped of its roots. Then she paid homage to the generation before us, the pioneers who never got the respect they earned. That hidden clip wasn't just nostalgia, it was a truth bomb. Lauryn's words carried the echo of Jimmy Cliff himself, a reminder that behind the beats and fame lay a fight for culture, pride, and authenticity. When fans rewatched the clip after Jimmy Cliff's passing, the internet lit up with questions. Was Lauryn Hill talking about him all along? Had she somehow predicted the injustice faced by Jamaica's forgotten pioneers? There was no proof, but when people want to believe, facts bend to feeling. Within hours, the video became a viral storm. Viewers brightened it, slowed it down, and added captions of their own. Every new edit told a different story. Some swore Lauryn meant Bob Marley, others claimed she was calling out the US music industry. A few even said the 1999 broadcast had been trimmed, that the most explosive part of her speech never aired. No one could confirm anything, but the mystery only fueled more theories. One caught fire, the idea that Lauryn's original message had been censored to tone down her criticism of record labels. And honestly, it sounded believable. Back in 1999, Lauryn was already clashing with the music business, hinting that the system was trying to silence her. Jimmy Cliff had faced something similar decades earlier. In the 1970s, he blasted record companies for profiting off reggae while ignoring Jamaica's culture. Two artists, two eras, but the same fight for artistic freedom. Fans couldn't ignore the parallel. Others, though, believed the simplest story. The footage was never hidden, just forgotten. In the 90s, TV shows were stored on old magnetic tapes that decayed over time. Maybe someone rediscovered it while digging through archives after Jimmy's death. Still, the timing felt too perfect, too eerie. Why did it surface now? Who released it? And for what reason? Those questions turned a random clip into something bigger, a symbol, and soon, across forums and headlines, it had a new name: the buried footage. Everyone knew it was probably just the mind playing tricks, but still, they couldn't look away. Something about that clip felt important, like it carried a secret no one could name. YouTubers slowed down every frame, studying Lauryn Hill's face as she mentioned the pioneers. Meanwhile, Redditors dug through old Jimmy Cliff interviews, hunting for hidden connections. They built a story that made sense in emotion, if not in fact. Jimmy Cliff fought to keep reggae pure, Lauryn Hill fought to keep her art real. Both stood for freedom in a world that tried to box them in. Fans believe this clip was where those two battles met, the part of music history the industry wanted forgotten. None of it was proven, but proof didn't matter. The power of a mystery lives in its empty spaces, in the silence where imagination takes over. Jimmy Cliff's death left a hole, and people rushed to fill it with meaning, turning grief into legend. And who better to stand at the center than Lauryn Hill, the quiet, powerful voice who always spoke of truth, faith, and pain. When reporters asked her about the resurfaced video, she stayed silent. That silence spoke louder than any explanation. With Jimmy gone and Lauryn refusing to confirm or deny, the clip became something else entirely, a living myth. Maybe it was nothing more than an old performance, maybe it was forgotten by time, or maybe, just maybe, back in 1999, Lauryn Hill did speak a truth the industry never wanted to hear, and it took more than 20 years for the world to finally listen. Jimmy Cliff's final goodbye came before the world was truly ready to listen, because sometimes footage isn't buried to be hidden, it's buried because its moment hasn't arrived yet. And when that moment finally comes, it doesn't reveal absolute truth. It reminds us that the real secrets in music live between the lines we forget. Jimmy Cliff is gone now, leaving behind more than 60 years of songs that carried Jamaica's heartbeat to the world. Lauryn Hill at 50 remains a mystery. Radiant yet distant, a voice both present and untouchable. They never shared a stage, yet their spirits crossed paths in the only realm that matters, the realm of legacy, rhythm, and unspoken truth. Maybe the buried footage is just an old recording. Maybe it's collective memory reshaped by emotion, but its timing was powerful. It appeared the very moment a legend closed his eyes, making people feel like they were standing at the edge of something deeper, something spiritual. Maybe it's a call to honor trailblazers like Jimmy Cliff. Maybe it's a quiet warning about how the industry treats black artists. Or maybe it's simply a strange twist of fate, memory meeting timing in perfect harmony. Lauryn Hill remains silent. Jimmy Cliff can no longer speak. And so the mystery floats on between truth and illusion, nostalgia and legacy. Just like the hidden layers of Jamaica's soul carried through generations, the truth isn't in proving the footage, it's in what it made the world remember. Jimmy Cliff didn't just leave music behind, he awakened stories long forgotten, echoing through every beat that still moves us today. Like, share, and subscribe for more untold stories. See you in the next one.